for our panel about Wikimedia and youth, or the future. Young people are the future, and in this regard, I believe we have a very crazy movement, and about that we are going to talk with Başak from Turkey, who has traveled the whole country in order to speak to Wikipedians, universities, government institutions in order to, and that she is going to talk about. We have Lucie, who has organized a youth conference, the first of its kind, in Prague for young Wikimedians, and I'm very curious to hear how that worked out. Shreya from India is a student, and she has organized, under difficult circumstances, it's the whole larger group. She has organized student clubs for Wikipedia, and I saw the lightning talk yesterday. I was very jealous because in my time when I was a student that didn't exist. Juan, he is not only a local hero here from Bogota, he has many ties to the international movement, and his studies contain a very large amount of education, but maybe not in the way you expected. And about me, well, there's nothing much to say about it, but in the last years, I somehow slowly, well, I'm a historian and linguist, but I slowly became a Wikipedia scholar because I wanted to concentrate and focus things on Wikis and Wikipedia and the interest for themselves, not just Wikipedia being a study object for a different discipline. And yes, what we are going to talk about today, is the audio okay? It's not important. What kind of movement are we? As a starter, do we need young people? They come to us by themselves, don't they? Young people as readers, young people as contributors or active part of the movement. Yes, and why would we talk about that at all? If it wouldn't be about our movement and what we are going to do next, about the future, what are the future actions, what are our demands, and our wishes towards the leadership of the foundation and the chapters. Kicking this off, so I don't want to insult anyone, but I have been busy for several reasons about the history of movements, and it all started like 200 years ago. One of the first movements for social and political change was the movement of abolitionists. People in America, for example, who wanted to end slavery. And these were gentlemen. A gentleman doesn't talk about money. He has money. He too have the time to travel to other clubs of gentlemen for a noble cause, talk on a high level. And children in that movement, children, they are women who take care of them. Oh, you mean poor children? Oh, yes, I give to church, I give to charity, of course. Yeah. Around the year 1900, and this is maybe a very German or Central European experience, there were little movements of people who often were considered crazy by the others. I believe this is a term also in reform, life reform, for example, vegetarians, because in Europe it was a very strange idea that you wouldn't eat meat because of the animal fare, but this is an important thing. They also put an ideological source over it, like, this is my way to manifest my relationship to every creature in the world. So, for example, think of the crazy German professor who is walking around naked in the park, and it had absolutely nothing to do with sexual intent. It was his manifestation of being one with nature, etc. So a lot of movements, we had to be a strong individualist, we were going to meetings, lectures, discussions, and there wasn't so much room for children activities. Vegetarians wanted their children to become vegetarians, but they often didn't want to force them because they knew by experience that you are an individual and you are different than others. very interesting movement, and you can think of yourself only as a relationship with us. Mass movements is a totally different thing with many, many people, like the workers' movement, for a very general approach to inequality, supporting the weak and the poor, and especially children. Children are the future, of course. And we have often compared the workers' movement, socialist movement with the church, Catholic church, education, children is a thing. Socialist kindergartens, socialist youth movements still exist in many countries. Strong organizations with a strict leadership because you want to make a fist for your political and social demands. And very, very different again, I'm afraid this is again a term from German tradition, new social movements like from the 1970s, 1980s, the peace movement, the movement for the environment, also the early movements for homosexuals, as we said in the 80s. These are movements that are more like networks, and they are from a time in Europe when welfare was quite high, so many people had the time to spend for hobby or noble cause. Education level were more, so many people had a university degree, they wouldn't be bossed around by a socialist leader. Children, yes, of course, and many of these people became teachers in schools and universities, and maybe they have been, but it is my teachers, and maybe also for you. And then, around the year 2000, we had the digital age, and now information was so available, and as a vegetarian, you didn't need an association, paying membership fees, paper, magazine, you know. On the internet, you have to be present on the internet, social media, and we are all equals because everyone has a laptop. See, laptop, I'm an old man thinking laptop. Everyone has a laptop, everyone has an internet connection, everyone speaks English, so where's the problem, isn't it? And now, specifically, we come to the Wikipedia community. What kind of movement is it, and how to become part of the movement, how to recruit new members? Oh, that's easy. People come to the website, they click on the edit button and become part of it, they edit, you know. And I have the experience, and this is true for many people from Wikipedia, they have a certain idea about how people are or how they should be. People are considered to be self-reliant, well, they have the time, money and the time to do this. They are resilient. If you have any problem with anyone on a talk page, okay, you stand your ground, you're a grown-up man. So when there's a troll, ignore him, fight him, you can do that, can't you? And especially, this I find very striking, I always ask myself, is Wikipedia actually a good platform in order to learn Wikipedia? Because when a new editor comes, a newbie, and he makes a mistake, I would point out, hey, learn the rules. Yeah, there's a link. I'm very kind. This is a link. It's online. Read the page. Those are the rules. What? It is not my task to explain the rules to you. I have learned them by myself too. What kind of movement is the Wikimedia movement, and what does it mean for children and young people? So, and this will be the basis for very, very interesting rounds among us, the panelists. And part 2 is about, do we need young people? And I'm very curious how that turns out. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Ziko, for the introduction and for the history of the movement. Well, we're going to start with this question, like in there, in the room, that is, do we actually need young people in the movement? Are they important? What we know about them? So, I think maybe Shreya wants to start with that.
Hey everyone, I am Shreya. I am currently a computer science student at Samrat Ashok Technical Institute, and I am the founder of Wikimedia. Working with a club where students of age between 18 to 21 was very interesting. They bring so much energy, many new ideas, and a lot more to the youth, to the movement. And building a movement like Wikimedia, we must include young people because it's all about inclusivity. So yeah, why not? Do you?
So should I go? The short answer is yes, we need them. Otherwise, we die out, and we don't want them, right? So that's the short answer I have. And should I go for the longer one also? Okay. Well, glad that you asked. I think it's a threat which I've seen in other movements previously, and I usually when I sit in a panel like that, I usually say I'm sitting here because I've been involved in youth work. And youth work has been a great impact on my career path, on my life experiences, and it made me to value certain values in the life and make decisions for my life and my career. And then that's why I always advocate for that, and that's why I always feel like other young people should have this chance, and they should have this chance in this movement also. And it should be our treasure to have them and to make them involved. But I also think that if we want to work with the young people and we want to involve them, we have to know something about the current generations. We have to learn something about them. So, can I still continue? Yeah. So, okay, I'm not really good with too many things in my hands, but how does it go? Okay, so I was warned by Ziko not to use the term Generation Alpha. I still did, because I trust you as a plenary that you are able to pick up that term or you understand it. And I want to very shortly say a few points, and this is not coming from the Wikimedia, this is coming from other associations I'm involved with, and it has been a short research done on the current generation, which is the Generation Alpha, which is 2010 to 2024. I have a question. Who in this room is a parent to Generation Alpha? Okay, thank you. I'm as well. So just for your imagination, these people, these young people, they are becoming teenagers and they will be entering the field. So they will be starting to be our editors. We want to attract them. The generation before it's so-called Generation Z. So it's, I do believe, from 96 to 2009. I would like to ask also those who identify with the generation in the room if you can raise your hand. The meeting on a daily basis. With the Gen Alpha, it's a question if you meet them, but I will sum it up quickly so we can move on. So what we came up with is it's actually a self-reflection of not of the kids necessarily, of the young people, but of the parents. And this is all about their parents, because the parenthood change. And there is more self-esteem, there is more orientation or self-love and self-acceptance. There is often a project, my joyful and successful child project, I want to be my child very happy. Overprotection can end up with helicopter parenting. The young people might not have that much freedom recently. Choosing a school becomes a huge project for many of the families, and things turn around that. The great phone dilemma, it has so many layers that I will not go into that, but phones are being in the center of attention for many reasons. for the good ones and for the bad ones also. Using online space and trying to moderate using of the online space and establishing relationships is way more complex and way more complicated. And I think this is something we should take in the movement also. How we manage providing a space where you can create connections and where you can create real human relationships. And I'll go to the next one, maybe, just to finalize it. Sorry. Yes. So, just to sum it up, we also have some very positive elements about the current generation. They learn new things very quickly. They learn in the online space. It's their home space area. They feel comfortable there, and we don't have to challenge them to use it. Oh, sorry. Not correctly using the microphone very wrong way. Speak English at a relatively young age. I think this is really interesting for us as being global. So not sorry. So as being a global movement, I found it very interesting with the English, because we have now generations which are fluent in English or maybe other languages, because this has been based in the Europe, the research, but we should consider that, because it might be easier for them to connect in the international space, which was not maybe that easy for the generations before. They can argue and are not afraid to make their points, which might be useful. So the future leadership is there, you should worry. They can handle technology better than the teachers often. This should be used. And thanks to their parent partnership approach, they often have more decision-making involvement in the families, and they are used to participate in decisions. So it was very brief, it was a very short sum up, but I just wanted to bring you to invite you to actually think of what we can learn about the upcoming generation, and not necessarily always think that they have to learn something about how our world is functioning, because we created this world for them, and this is how they try to navigate recently.
Thanks, Lucie, for all the overview over here. Well, let me ask you a question to you, Bob. If we fail to engage new generations, what will be the risks for movement? What are we facing if we fail?
I think I, in a way, said it already. We might have a generation gap that might mean that we have a decrease of editors, but I also would consider the huge aspect from our practice of Wikimedia Czech Republic of the intergenerational cooperation, which is functioning very well. I see similar needs with our elderly community and with the young community, so they pair up very well and they cooperate very well. And I also think the threat is that we will not have the diversity kept in the export media, because if we manage to have all the generations present, we are able to work on the diversity of the topics also.
Yeah, talking about the risk, there can be risk. Everybody, when we started, we also might have failed, but we should give them space, to learn, to explore. And talking about the same, we should also think as leaders. We should also tell the young generation, why should you join the movement? What will be the importance? How will it shape your personality? And what will it give you if you join the movement? So when in my club, what I told my students and my batchmates, Wikimedia is a very diverse community. If you join the movement, you will get an exposure from all different parts of the world, because we are so diverse and a very large community. We have collaborations, we have partnerships, we have multiple talks, we conduct workshops throughout, and yeah, so students get exposure. Also, joining the movement, not just as a reader or an editor, but also shaping the movement will give them leadership qualities. Like, if I talk about my club, I have formed a board where students who are really interested to join the movement, We have given them certain roles and responsibility, which is sense of competition to other students also. Like, yes, I also wanted to be in the mood of the club because they can see the opportunities we are getting. They can see the exposure we are getting. So, let's say that we should also think about why the youth should join.
Well, that's very interesting. I think that we are expecting maybe the new generations join the movement to keep doing what we are doing. But really, their concerns are not the same that we have. So, do you think that maybe Wikimedia platforms or Wikimedia projects can work like a window so they can feel or they can have like a sense of activism in the topics that they are concerned about, like climate change or inequality? That our platforms could help that and engage them to express opinions about the concerns that they have.
Yes, young generation these days are very much active on social medias. So Wikipedia kind of bores them. I must not say that, but yes, that is kind of a reality. When I work with my students, they're like, we have ChatGPT, we have other AI tools. Why should we contribute to Wikipedia? Because we already have so much information out there. So what I told them was, when you use ChatGPT, if you see the source code or if you see where the content it is taking is from Wikipedia, so why not join the larger movement? You know, um, uh, yes. So talking about if we started promoting the movement in a more, we get more exposure to social media, and maybe we can make use of campaigns, social media campaigns, like talking about, if for example, talking about climatic changes. We can make a campaign like that, that we are working on climatic changes. If you have any concerns or ideas, maybe through that, young generation can involve. So, yeah.
Good. I don't know, I learned already in the school that if I don't know something, if I don't know the answer, I ask. And if I don't know the answer, how the young people can get engaged and whether they find in Wikipedia the things they need, I would first come to the young people we have actually already present and talk with them and ask them. So I don't even dare to answer this. I think that's why we meet together, and that's why we need to ask those who are supposed to be part of the game.
If you want, we can wait for the input that we're going to have later to ask the presenters. Just to sum up, so I get that we need young people in the movement and in our projects. If not, our projects are going to die out, and we have to find the way to engage them. That's very important for us. So if you want, we can advance on to the next slide. The input from the audience. Here we want to listen to you all about this topic and these questions.
Yeah, so far, if you have any questions or suggestions, or do you align with whatever you talk about? If you have any comments or such, yeah, Ruby.
Yeah, thank you so much. I believe this is a very important topic and we shouldn't take it lightly. One of the things that I'll say, I'll suggest is that telling young people about Wikipedia is an invitation. And then when we invite them, we need to ask them to tell us how we should change, how we should change the things that we are doing that is not really appealing to them, because I think we need them to be able to modify our platforms. And secondly, Wikipedia needs to evolve quickly, very fast. We are really behind time, and especially when it comes to AI. Platforms is trying, but it's not meeting the way that people are searching for information. I personally am a PhD student at the same time, but we use platforms like Science Direct and all of that. And all of these databases have evolved, incorporating AI that makes it easy for us to query the system and find the information that we want in the way that we want it. So it limits the information based on the content in just that database, but it gives us that kind of output. Like now, if you search things from Google search and all of that, you see that Google also has evolved. It's not giving you all those things, but it's also giving you some kind of summary. That is what people want now. So I think we are very far behind, and we need to bring more young people to involve our platform, to listen to them. Let's give them the voice, the platforms. I don't know, the technical teams. We should bring more AI people, because if you look at Google now, they've launched new AI. Like Google is taking over the whole place. So I think we should bring in more AI. We should intentionally bring in more young people who are AI inclined to help us, improve our platform in a way that will appeal to the young people themselves. Because I think that we are used to our traditional way, and I think that we are doing something right, but we're probably going to be kicked out of the system in no time. So I think we should really engage young people. Thank you.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Ruby. The future isn't about something we build for the young people, but we build together with them. And in this age of AI, yeah, we should evolve fast, and taking inputs from the young generation and then building something together can maybe help the moment.
I would like to speak on my experience handling my club, my university, and also just approaching about the younger generation in general. You mentioned about how we should tell them how when you go into Wikimedia, the Wikimedia movement, you can really learn, and be exposed to the global community. And the issue that I face is, as much as I do explain that, I tell that to the younger generation, and they can see it for myself. I've went to a lot of conferences all over the world, but it still takes them. They feel that they cannot do it as well as other people who have done it. I think the issue also goes with a bit of confidence and also patience as well. So, but even from generations that, our generation, they feel that, it takes a lot of time, they're very new, they see that I'm also someone who's new, and I was able to jump into it very quickly. But then one of the experiences that really sort of gave me a new insight recently, that just last week actually, for my club, a lot of the members are very new. A lot of them have just joined because I asked them to join, so that we can actually establish a club. So it includes two of my classmates who are the type of people who, ever since school, they're not the type who are going into co-curriculum things. They're just the type of studies and then do nothing else. And when they join, I asked them to join without any commitment, so they don't need to do much, just to help us establish the club. But after they decided to join our program last week, we joined TEDx conference. When they actually experienced the whole thing themselves, for the first time ever, I see the two of them. They're not just now interested in all of this, but they can actually speak to others. They were handling the booth and telling everyone, approaching everyone, and advocating about the Wikimedia movement, even though they knew nothing before that. So actually, they learned quite quickly, and the only issue, the only thing that's standing between them and what they can do is their own perception of themselves. So confidence, self-esteem, and the way that they feel that others might be superior. So if I think if we can actually like somehow address this, or like, I mean, the easiest way will of course to get exposed to immediately get them exposed to the experience, or have them experience the thing itself. But then at least to make them know that it's actually possible. Like as much as I've said it to them that it's possible, they still don't believe it until they actually experience it themselves. This is something that I feel I've been looking into the last few years.
I totally agree with you. When I started, I was also not that confident, but with time, confidence comes. And the best part about our community is we all are sitting in the same room. We as students, with professors, and everyone treats everyone equally. That is the best part of the movement. Nobody treats like, oh, you are a student. Why should we listen to you? We are more experienced. It's not like that here in our community. So that's the best part. And with time, as you mentioned, that the two students before they were very shy and underconfident, but with time, due to the exposure and everything, now they are confident, and I'm sure they will be the leads too in future. So yeah, this is the beauty of our movement, I believe.
Thanks for participating. Okay. I think we are going to adapt to the big part of the presentation.
One more question.
One more question.
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna do the bad thing of like making more of a comment than a question, but I do wanna bring the attention to some of the things that were said that I think are a little bit problematic, because I think that the generation alpha, like the way it was described, it doesn't necessarily fit the reality of the world that we're living in. For example, in Argentina and in Uruguay, like in Uruguay in particular, we have like 20% of people that are under the poverty line, and most of the people that are under the poverty line are young people. So they have no food. It's not that they have like English skills, they have no food at all. And they like go at night without like eating. And the same is true in Argentina and in most of Latin America. There's like actually a very important like economic divide in the way in which the generation alpha is growing. And I think this is like the case in like a lot of places, not only Latin America. So I want to challenge all of us to think outside of our white privilege and our economic privileges, to look what's happening around us and how we can actually like try to like help with that divide that exists in the world. And this is like part of why we're building free knowledge too, because we want to solve those problems as well. And so I think incorporating that activist perspective is also a very important part of how we can actually like bring young people in, because they are also interested in social change. As sorry, I'm gonna like butcher your name. As Shreya was saying, like people get interested in topics like climate change, like women issues, like they want to be activists, and they find that Wikipedia as an outlet for that. And I also want us like challenge all of us to try to move out from this extractivist perspective that we're bringing to the table. Like, we want young people so they can all become Wikipedia editors. I don't think that's the reason. Like, we want to share the things that our movement is bringing. We want to share like the sense of humor, the exchange of knowledge, like having fun, like doing fun things with friends. Like, those are the things that we want to do. We want to create a different culture for exchanging knowledge and for creating knowledge that is not AI bullshit. And so I think that it's important that we bear these things in mind, and we like move away from this idea of like young people, like we need to bring them because we need more Wikipedia editors, and then old people have lives, and so we need to bring them in because like, oh, you know, they have nothing to do with their lives. Like, they have a lot of things to do with their lives, and we need them to choose to be with us because this is a fun moment where they feel included.
So just for notice with this, for example, the service, if you read the person here, if you read the travel information that is in the wiki page in meta, it says that in Colombia most of people don't speak Spanish, so even if you try, they are not going to understand. And if if you push me too much, I would say that we actually don't want that new generation speaks English fluently. It's very a multilingualism community that just one that speaks in English. But I think Lucie wants to.
I feel we should bridge to the next topic. I also wanted to say the few slides, the research was really, I said European based. I'm very much aware that English could be substituted with other language. And I also think it's actually a nice bridge now to, but maybe a bit quickly, but I'm really interested now how Ziko will follow now, because we have this topic, young people as the readers. And then that's maybe a prerequisition. So if we don't, like, we might not aim for too many editors or too many people being necessarily fully involved, but also we still want young people to be the readers, because if we have the young people as readers, they might also have their demands for the encyclopedia. And I think there we could pass the floor to Ziko. Would that be a good idea?
Obviously, we have one slide. That's all.
Now the question is, young people are the leaders. Thank you very much for the introduction. Where you invited us to think about what kind of movement many movement is and how the children fit in this. And now I would like to ask you, what do you think, how children fit to mega projects? What kind of needs and what do they want from our projects?
We have now a lot of people in the Wikimedia movement, Wikipedia, of course, and yes, it's a good question. Is Wikipedia suitable for children? And there are some Wikipedians who say, oh, there's no problem at all. And other Wikipedians are very aware of that Wikipedia has content that really is not suitable for children, mainly it's difficult to understand. Many Wikipedians, they have the ambition to write a very thorough, detailed article to show off. They know all the technical terms, and that, of course, even for non-children, that's acceptable. And the other thing, that is the sex and violence, let's say it this way, think of the article of the Holocaust in any Wikipedia language version. Many of them have extremely graphic images with, I don't have to tell you, dead bodies I already know that from printed encyclopedias, and I'm sometimes really shocked because can imagine that for many people this is also a reason not to go further. And especially when you think about children, you must keep in mind, you must be explicit, you must say what happened, but you cannot be too explicit in detail. But sexuality, children want to know where the little babies come from, but they are not exactly everything.
So, are there other demonstrations that what children want and need, like regulations, such as what should I think editing for children?
Oh yes, indeed. Yes, so if you want to establish a website and children are supposed to read it, there are a lot of rules from the government or many other institutions that are important one way or the other, for example, when it comes to subsidies. So if you create a website and children are supposed to read it, then every rule is even stricter for data protection. Now imagine that you create a website where children are supposed to contribute to something, say something. Well, that's a dinosaur. That's even a thing of. Before I started with these things, I read an example. Imagine you have the moderator for a website, a forum for children. The children talk to each other. Now imagine there's a post that is saying, hello, I have 3 cats, I have 5 dogs, I have 9 fish, and I have 2 turtles. So you're the moderator of the website. Are you going to allow this post to the forum?
Sure.
It might be a code or an ICQ code or any kind of code, a telephone number, something that is leading other children to a private channel for communication, and the child who was posting this maybe turns out to be a 40-year-old man. So cyber grooming is a thing, and thing in Wikipedia with the wiki mail, and then everything leaves sort of the control. You can send it to anyone and have a contact. And with adults, we think, well, adults should care for themselves, but children. So it is not an easy task. You have to learn a lot about regulations and other things if you want to create a website for children as readers or even as contributors.
So you have created a wiki for children. Could you please explain us how that things works there? How it works different than Wikipedia?
Yes. So this is really a crazy thing because sometimes in life you see a link on a website in Wikipedia. In 2014 there was a German journalist, Michael Schulte. He didn't have experience with Wikipedia or wikis, but he thought, wouldn't that be cool to have a kind of Wikipedia for children? And he also got a grant from Wikimedia Deutschland for the start. For the first year, he was searching for input. He had an online meeting for that, and it turned out that I had some thoughts about wikis and Wikipedia, and so we had a team. He had his qualities, I hope, some skills, and so in 2014 we started. And the funny thing is, our task was to write a concept for Wikipedia for children in German, and we thought, no, this. You can imagine that. Let's create immediately such a wiki, because then we can try things out and see how it works. So maybe you know these shows on TV, people who want to open a restaurant, and then they are in their kitchen, they try out the dishes, and this doesn't work, and the expert says, no, this is not practical, and so on. Michael and I were in that situation. We wrote articles for children. Did it work? We showed it to different people, children. Now this is not good. The images, they must be bigger. The font size must be bigger. Children want bigger font size, etc., etc. But yes, there are a lot of differences with Wikipedia. Maybe the biggest one is our readers. Our readers are not the writers. Of course, in Wikipedia, most people read it, don't write that. We have decided that only adults or people until 16 years old are allowed to edit, get an account. And you need to get an account, you cannot register yourself. Children, we have tried out to work with children in contact with the parents. And a 10-year-old child, a 12-year-old child, even 14-year-olds, even adults. They cannot write good articles for children without preparation, and the children they would read in the school, read weeks for that, good time for it, good work. But Michael always says children books. They are written by children or by adults. Yeah, Astrid Lindgren or other writers, they were adults. They were good writers. Not anyone can write. And children, if you simply ask them, oh, we have in school, there's 1 free hour, please write an article for children, that is too much. Yeah, they cannot write something that meets our quality standards. Our readers, they want quality articles. They don't want stupid things, and they would read them. Children are quality articles like that.
Are there different set of rules for writing than for editing? Are the rules different for contributing?
Oh yes, actually a lot, and I'm afraid it can be open to liberty. In Wikipedia, you want to create an article? Go right ahead, write an article, very long, very beautiful, and what can happen then? It gets deleted, maybe because it's not comfortable or any other people. In the lexicon, we have a list And you are only allowed to write draft articles from the list with articles with topics that are really important for our. And if the topic is not on the list, you can ask for it to propose it. Mostly you have to propose it. But so we care for it that we don't have 1,000 articles about dinosaurs. We don't have people who care for that. So this is one of the main rules. And we start every article as a draft. And when two other people say, okay, now it is good enough, it means our quality standard only then is allowed to become an article. So every article has a minimum step.
So, do you think such content is also useful for other readers, like people with learning difficulties or people who language difficulties?
That is huge. Yeah, this is something many people ask me this. So it's a children's encyclopedia. When I came to a different country, I learned the language. So when I came to the Netherlands, I watched Sesame Street in Dutch. It's okay. And many people ask, the lexicon isn't it good for foreign learners, German, or you're dyslexic, no IQ, etc. And these are very innocent questions. I remember there was a student in the university. I introduced the lexicon, and she said, "Oh yes, we use lexicon articles." She was active for refugees from Syria, and from time to time she uses lexicon articles because they are simple text. And I said, "That's wonderful. I love to hear it, but I would never advertise, promote, and say, hey, lexicon is great for refugees, foreign learners, dyslexic people, because we made it specifically for children and their needs. And if you belong to other groups, they have different. And I could elaborate about being not good in your own language, being a foreign learner, being intelligent and can communicate, but with difficulties with reading. Dyslexia is a collective term for different conditions. Then different kinds of text, etc., etc. So I'm absolutely vocal about this. We need Wikipedia specifically for children, specifically enough, make it as good for that target group. These are standards we will talk about. Other target groups, if they make use of it, it's wonderful, but I wouldn't be honest. I would say it's suitable for everyone. I think sometimes the thinking is like, no, Wikipedia is for normal people. And then we have a simple English Wikipedia for those children, foreign learners, who are not live on that level. That is a kind of thinking I'm not having. And so that's why I'm bold. But some people let's say some people decide about money and they don't know that, and they say, I have no way of the website for children. No, scale it up for everyone. And that's what
Thank you very much. You have discussed how different age groups might different needs, and maybe it's needed there to be different content and different rules. And you have an example, an experience about it, how to create it. And you know that it is children, writing for children does not same as writing for people with problems or language problems, etc. Thank you very much. Is there anything that you would like to add or think that audience would like to add?
That I have also. Lexicon experience was very important for me, so that I very well know a wiki that is not Wikipedia or one of the Wikimedia wikis. And I think that the concept behind it is about for children, but it's also for if you don't have a lot of people, if your community is small. We have like 5, 10 people in the lexicon community. Some are new, some leave, some come. And with this small group, we have now 3,000 something articles. And the important thing is every child that is searching something actually finds the topic nearly always. So you don't need millions of articles for your readers. If it is like 2,000 articles, well selected, then it's already wonderful. And I would say you can come up in your own country with linguistic community, even if you don't have a lot of people. But if you have a handful of volunteers, I suppose like in 2 years, you can create children's encyclopedia. Some articles you can translate from the lexicon, everything, and you adapt everything. So in a relatively short amount of time, at the end, you will have a result that is sort of construction side, you can improve it, but it is really useful encyclopedia for children. And it is true.
I understand that the topics are selected by adults as well. Is there a way that children join to this selection and I need this information needed? Because I would like to share an experience I did. When we were in Turkey, we visited a school. We asked children to do daily Wikipedia, but are they happy with it? About Turkish Wikipedia especially. And one student said, he's not happy that there is not enough topics covered about Scandinavian mythology in Turkish Wikipedia. And we're really surprised. Is this covered in the curriculum or what? And the librarian explained that there's a game that the characters are based on Scandinavian mythology. That's why they're asking. Do you have such experiences?
Wonderful, nice that you shared. Yes, we have that. We have went to schools, but it is a lot of work, of course. And if you have this, you have a better feeling about your audience, you have a better idea of whom you are writing for. I hope everyone here is writing articles for readers, and it's just what you said.
Okay, comes over. Thank you very much. Let's go over for the next slide.
Can I
Just take one person, okay.
here? I would like to know what was the inspiration behind the logo. Okay, so my question is, what was the inspiration behind this logo? Because yeah, I would like to know.
The logo in first, yes. Oh, thank you. It's not very original. It is my design. It is not very original. It is the old, the old. For in Greek tradition, it is wisdom, Athena. So I think our name lexicon. Lexicon is the German word for encyclopedia. The logo, I think it works quite well in Germany, German-speaking countries, but I also can imagine if you want to have a lexicon in your own language, then you would change a lot of things about the branding and maybe have a professional designer. Thank you.
Okay, so moving on to the next part. Activate young people as authors and members of the movement. So, Lucie and Başak, what do you think about this? How can we activate young people not just as readers, but as editors or leaders in the movement?
I would like to share my experiences in Turkey, what we do. In my country, the main and most frequent activity we do with my music group is visiting universities and releasing Wikimedia projects to students, and we find out that they already know, and they're already Wikipedia, especially readers of Wikipedia, for as long as they remember. But what we do is introducing, shifting their perspectives from becoming passive readers to active contributors. So we join people activities, organizing the the grant organized the university, we go to the courses, help the instructors, who gives Wikipedia assignments and support the students in doing such those assignments by giving feedback to their work. Well, we chose youth. The overall goal of the youth group is, of course, creating good quality content for all generations, by the contributions of all generations. But we find out that young people has very good digital skills, more energy, more curiosity, and it is easier to reach them in school environments and train them about editing. So we visit like 15 schools every school year. But part time, after visiting so many schools, we saw that for sustainability, we need to do different things because we cannot keep going on every school all the time. So we wanted to invite the students to create their wiki clubs at the universities. So they will share what they learned with others. What we learned during all these experiences, that editing is not something everyone will do. They will not continue doing it, and it's okay. What they're trying to do actually is just having this experience once in a lifetime will make them better readers. So what we focus on training better Wikipedia readers, and by chance some of them will be enthusiastic enough to continue. So we are trying to meet those people, and if we meet them, we also would like to encourage them to become leaders in sharing those knowledge with others and provide peer-to-peer learning. And we saw that they're also motivated by communicating with other youth people, young people in other countries. We encourage such communication, and we encourage them to be a part of such global events, participating, and take charge of the things. But we are learning. We see that there are some difficulties in this as well, because usually such things are done by one or two very enthusiastic students. We have Wiki clubs in 5 universities right now, and if they graduate, they don't find other students like themselves before they graduate, the club may be dissolved. So we are trying to deal with such trying situations, making wiki camps for all such leaders, and supporting them to join in international events. We are trying to find solutions, but we think this solution is like letting young to take charge and organizing that as well.
Should I continue or do you want to? Oh my god, this one is really nice. Sorry. By the end of this panel, I will learn how to hold it. Always learning. Always learning. Yes, I think that also goes for the young people. So based on the experience, like most of you know now, I work for the chapter, so I'm part of the affiliate, and that brings sometimes being a little bit more pragmatic with where we invest the time and what we do. And I've seen even here at the conference, many of you presenting a good practices how to involve the young people being authors, being editors. And I think this is on roll, this is happening. But then my next question is always, what is the success rate and how many of them retain and how many of them we manage to involve? And the same is with our Elden program. I am very on the ground that what I think we try to do now is to seek for the change makers, to seek for if there is a little bit of uniqueness and exclusivity, and it's very pragmatic, and I'm very honest about it, that like at this stage where we are now, when we want to involve some of the young people, I think I really have to search for the crème de la crème. So if I have a involvement of 30, 40 people, maybe one out of them will be the one which has this sort of potential to be the first follower, then being the leader, and then being the one who can attract the others. And that's, I think, where the investment kind of wants to go, because that person is open and they want to carry on, and we can have a mutual projects together and experiences. So I think we seek for young people being those who have the potential of being change makers and youth leaders and being the peer leaders to their communities. And it takes a bit of, I don't want to use bad words, but it takes a bit of a picking and seeking. But what I also see important is to then be able to work with failure, with a mistake, to allow learning, to allow something not to be perfect, and to rather become in the role of a partner, and then really asking how we can make this work together, rather than creating very fixed internships or very fixed positions or very fixed occasions. I think it's a lot of iteration and a lot of searching what could be the functional model. So this is a little bit the thinking behind, and I wonder if you want to still ask us some questions, or if I should continue with the specific case study I still have. So.
As Başak said, that sustainability is a big issue. You start a club, if those students who were enthusiastic leave, then the club dies. So what I did in my club, I passed on the leadership to the board, making the board. Making a board really helped, because initially I was the leader and now I've graduated. So I passed on my leadership to the board members or the students who are really interested in contributing. How that helps is that young people, they don't, in the wiki spaces, they don't know how to do and what to do. And if we set up a whole thing that this is your responsibility, for the next 1 year, you will be responsible for doing these many activities in the college, in the club, that help. If I give an example, we run Wiki Loves Folklore campaign. So the initial 2 months of the year, like since January till March, we focus on Wiki Loves Folklore, and there all the students of the club and in general of the students of college, they contribute to commons. Then the second cohort, we start edit-a-thon or something like that. So young people really likes competition, and what attracts them, we in the end say that if you participate in this competition or this workshop, we will provide you certificates which you can upload on LinkedIn or stuff like that. We can also give young students opportunity of internships that can also sustain them, because once they get an exposure of the wiki movement, they will automatically grow. And we as students, we know the power of Wikimedia. If I see myself in 2021, I never thought that I will be this confident or I'll be able to present in front of the global community. But now when I see myself, I feel really proud that it's good that I joined the movement. It was a bit difficult to understand it in the first, but now I see and I passed on the knowledge, whatever I had with me, to the members of my club. One of the achievement which is there, that one of the board member of our club is Achal Patel. She is going to Wikimedia this year. So that is going to motivate all the students of the college. And people will sustain.
Okay, so I think it's a good time to share the 2 concrete things which I think they have been mentioned that we are doing. So this is not my project. This is project I have the honor to 5 minutes, yes. I have the honor to present, and I have the honor to be part of from the very beginning, but I'm definitely not the owner the young people and the community are the owners. So this is the CE Youth Group from the CE region, which we started about 2 years ago. We officially met first time November 2023, but the initial meetings and calls in online started earlier. And it's an informal youth group in the CE region, and it benefits from the support of the CE Hub, which brings me to one element which I found important, and that it's regional, and that could be also one of the answers, because I hear you colleagues telling me your situation in South America, in other regions is very different, and I totally understand that. And I think that could be the solution to work more regionally, so people can actually physically find a way to each other. They are also in a similar time zone. That makes a big difference too. But I found it really essential that it's not only online community, but we are managing somehow to meet, not always with everybody. It's sometimes a little bit random. We have the 2 meetings where the core active members could participate, but also some of them made it to Wikimedia last year in Katowice, so we created the youth track or youth provided program in Katowice also. And I think this all strengthened the structure a lot, because they created a physical human bond, and I will repeat that again. We are very good in keeping the online space and being a community in the online, but I think what actually goes against all these trends which I was presenting before is the need of young people in the movement to have a chance to really meet physically or in online, but kind of face-to-face, voice-to-voice, and to share what they are facing. They are often alone in their communities, and some of them are facing different issues, because if they have functions in the Wikipedia, they might face the different governmental procedures, they might be activists in fact, and then we all share, like, this is what we share in the meetings, like, and even in the Telegram group which exists now, it's this space, the safe space where they can basically first off share what's going on and get support and reflection from the others, and that just does a lot on its own from my experience being an observer. So it's a steady grow, it's self-organized now, we have a bi-monthly online catch-ups, they organize gaming nights, I'm not part of that, not my cup of tea, but I kind of love it, because now they have a new Barn Stars, I just explored yesterday, they have a Barn Stars for the gaming nights, and they represent the youth group, they're very proud of it also, and I think they represent the youth group in different meetings. I've seen some of you here also representing the potential of such cooperation in some other meetings, and it's now spreading as a possibility how to cooperate. So this is one very specific thing, but it started as an experiment, let's be very honest, and I think we are still polishing the experiment, and now the governance goes more to the young people themselves. And what it resulted into was we think very first youth conference, but you can correct me, in the Wikimedia movement, which took place just 2 weeks ago in Prague. And we managed to have about 40 people from the CE region, and then 40 people we tried to gather from around the whole world. I would like to thank here to all the chapters, affiliates, and user groups, and those who help us to seek for the young individuals, because it was not that very easy to find them. To seek for the young individuals who have the potential to be active members in the community and to be organizers. It was not just any young person. We were really trying in this first round to look for people who has this change maker potential, and to give them a chance to meet, to inspire each other. But also, because the premises of the conference was this vision we have, and also some of the statements and problems we identified, and we wanted to clarify with the young people themselves whether this what we assume might be a challenge, it's actually a challenge or not. So yeah, we will still be sharing more results, I believe here a little bit, but also afterwards. But hopefully this drives your attention a little bit to that there are some more results coming out of this conference.
Okay, we are off the time now. Okay, summing up this, thank you so much for sharing about the CEU youth group, CEU youth group. It is really inspiring for the youth, to have a structure like this, which is dedicated to the youth, for the youth. So, summing this up, young people are not just the future, they are already shaping the present of the Wikimedia movement. From local initiative to the global campaigns, youth bring energy, creativity, and new ways of thinking. But at this moment, to grow, we need more structural support, mentorship, inclusivity space, and trust in the youth leaderships. So now I would like to forward this to the next part. Okay, Lucie. Thank you.
Thank you. So the next part is the movement in the movement in action. So we would like to move a little bit to what we as what we as a movement can do, or what we should maybe. And then we have a bit of a discussion before with Ziko and other of the panelists, like what does it even mean to ask the movement to do something? What does it mean to have a movement? What we are talking, if we have any demands to the movement, what does it actually mean? What does it take? And so maybe to simplify it more is what do we want from the Wikimedia Foundation? What do we want from the individuals in the movement? And what do we want from the affiliates or the chapters? And how to integrate youth activities in the movement? And I would like to first pass the floor to you, Juan, and ask you what are your ideas about that?
Well, first, as a movement, I think we have to listen to the youth, because they are going to bring ideas that maybe we didn't have still. For example, I know that if we ask them and we listen to them, they are going to mention the AI, of course. But here's where the thing comes that we have to set like an agreement, because yes, we need to change. The movement has to change. The platforms for VDD and ad information has to change. But we want to keep a human touch on them. So there's a tension between the new ideas that are going to come, but also the identity that we have built for a lot of years. So as a movement, we have to listen, and we have to, of course, face the tensions that are going to bring new ideas, and we have to deal maybe with changes. In 10 years from now on, I don't know how the movement is going to look like, but of course, it's going to be very interesting in the changes or the process that the changes are going to bring. And as affiliates and non-affiliates also, I think we have to create activities or projects that are centered in the young people exclusively. Because of course, in the editathons or in other activities, young people are going to come, but they are not like the center of the target, the people that we are trying to reach. If we address that directly, we center exclusively on them, we are going to face the needs that they have in a better way than just like including them in general public. So the affiliates, I think, could create like projects that are just centering them. And another way was I think we can create affiliates or user groups, micro grants, scholarships. Bringing back some ideas that we have discussed here is that we have to involve them in the movement, like taking them to us. And one way to do that is, for example, the conferences or just workshops. Not everybody has the chance to travel, not everybody has the chance to spend some time, free time. Well, it depends on the different contexts, but usually in the context where I move, time is not like research there, which help a lot. So if we can bring, for example, scholarships, some micro grants for projects exclusively about young people, that will help a lot of them to participate and finally get in touch with the movement. That is what they want, that they share our identity, that they share our ideas about what free knowledge should be. And that is not something that appears from nowhere. They have to learn from us what is that.
Yeah, I have a personal question. Did you felt yourself that you got that kind of recognition or support somewhere on your path being a Wikimedian? And you appears to me to be still very young yourself, so like, what, no, it's always interesting, like, you're a young person here, so, like, you are also teaching, right? So, young person was teaching, and so I'm wondering, like, do you have any particular moment to share where you felt like you were recognized or supported in the Wikimedia movement?
Well, first, thanks. I'm 34 years old, but I still think that I'm young. And yes, there are several times that I have feel recognized in the movement, and especially when I have been trained in stuff that I like, and that I can bring back to my community. And I feel like when the foundation and the chapters, they can bring me the opportunities to grow, it's when I feel recognized.
Thanks. And I just want to emphasize on this. It's like the people sharing their very individual story, their very individual path in the movement. I think it's so important to remind ourselves constantly, like, how we got involved, what was our path, what helped us, what was maybe a barrier, and then we can be the best ambassadors to pass it on. Right. I also think, like, if any of our panel colleagues would like to still comment on this topic, no? Okay, then what I suggest is, I'm sorry, it seems like I'm the slide lady here, like, which I'm usually not. I'm very, very offline person, very analog, but it's really hard to present some interesting stuff without the slide. And keep it in my head. So this is again very much homeopathic appearance of what we've been doing at the youth conference in Prague, but we have some of the statements you could have seen before. And I'm also happy that some of the things you mentioned actually appeared there. So we have several questions, and these are fast results. So one of the statements was, without the sufficient support, young Wikimedians may lose enthusiasm and burnout. And we always ask also what the young people can do for themselves. But there were also always the two second layers of what can other groups or local communities do, and what can the Wikimedia movement do. So here you could see what is kind of a support which could help them. We again organize meetings, to establish some peer support and mentoring structures, create safe spaces, the safety and well-being and some sort of like balance has been thing which has been repeating, encourages experience sharing, yeah, structured support programs. That's what you were also mentioning. We can go to the next one. We also asked them, as an organizer, what can the Wikimedia movement do to me, to help me being a young person, and always the financial support is always there. I'm sorry, financial institutional support, providing microgrants, scholarships, and travel funding, offering institutional backing for activities. Tools and dashboards, offering analytic tools, improving systems to connect volunteers. I found this one quite interesting. Communicating and information sharing, providing clear how-to guides, sharing learning from conferences and events and collaboration activities. This is what a lot of you here are actually doing, or participating in supporting small meetups and wiki clubs, going regional, going local, and providing with a physical possibility to meet. Yes, next one. I believe this is the last one. No. So, and we also asked them just a bit of reflection for you, a pickup list you can take from how that's contributing to Wikimedia projects, how can people develop their valuable skills. So, if you can, this is a bit of feedback if we do our work well or not. The soft skills, different hard skills, the very much important hands-on experience, so they can get involved in organized events, learning by doing, and building practice through the projects. And we shouldn't forget about the personal development dimension. And there's another one, sorry. What opportunities for growth does the Wikimedia movement offer to those who get involved? The personal growth, the professional development, community intercultural connections. Again, this is important one. The community intercultural connections are really essential. That it's something what the international movement offers, and nobody else has it. If you are not an international movement, you cannot necessarily offer an intercultural connection. So they're a great melting point for that, for learning. And again, support platforms. So you also see things are repeating a little bit, but that's good because there are very clear, specific, concrete demands, and if we work on them, it might get over it. Right. So what? And what about you? What about you, Ziko?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the wonderful comments. And with a small note to the slides, maybe the slides will be public, of course. It's okay. And we want at the end, well, I'm going to end the session with one sentence. But before that, I would like input from you, not questions, but comments, short comments, maybe one or two sentences, so that a lot of people have the opportunity. And don't worry, I go around. Who wants to give an input, comment? Galder, musst du das? Oh,
so you can go. So thanks to the input, there were lots of things. One thing that we have been doing in the Basque community is creating the first children encyclopedia inside Wikipedia, or Wikipedia, you can go to Basque Wikipedia and check it. And the experience there is very different from the classical approach because there mostly are children writing. And when I say children, is as young as 7 years old. So in that approach, the quality is lower than lexicon, way lower, but the overall participation of children is higher. So we are encouraging them to create also content and to know that not all is given. You have to also participate in the knowledge creation.
Thank you, and just more time because you are the co-founder of a children's Wikipedia yourself, and that you deserve it, I thought, because people can have different opinions. But I'm short.
Hi, I definitely endorse the intergenerational approach. I started on Wikipedia when I was a graduating was 21-year-old. I got a lot of support from someone who's like 65-year-old and just retired as a librarian. and I was like very, very formative being able to have like the confidence to reach out to professionals in these communities. Definitely, I embrace student clubs. I've never been part of Wiki Student Club. I was part of the Student Free Culture Club, which were quite active a few years ago. I actually joined 2 of them, and they're both at universities that I didn't attend. And they were very supportive in having the first Wiki Takes Wiki Loves events that we ever had was with them. So I think there's a lot of pledge for that. I'm hoping to start some clubs plus from the City University of New York, and maybe the research or network of different clubs around the world. I also, I think it's interesting to think about the youth are like the #1 target for the billion-dollar companies. They really value, they're looking to get attention span to everybody, but they especially value young people, and the younger the better. They want like 15-year-olds, and they want to spend much of their time. And I wonder how we can offer a contrasting vision, maybe appeal to students' idealism, but there's so many resources being poured in to using their attention for special activities.
Okay, thank you. I believe you have time for one more input. And someone who been before us there. So I give the preference to you. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you, Ziko, for your presentation. I want to talk about the young people in Colombia from the last 28 and 29 May. They fight for our rights in the streets, in the north part of Bogota and the south part of Bogota, because they think that they're fighting moment is on the streets. However, we need to convince them. We can fight on Wikipedia and the Wikimedia movements because the human rights that has been violated right in Colombia to them and to all people are not only their responsibility, but our responsibility. So if we know how to edit on Wikipedia, we can encourage them to fight against the violation of the human rights.
Thank you. I apologize. The keyword human rights was not enough in this panel. Thank you very much that you added it. Human rights. Maybe last one, Liana, what do you think?
Sure, one more.
One last, really last. And you have had your chance before. I come to you.
Okay, thank you. I'm interested in knowing how we as a movement are going to integrate AI. I think we all agree that it's not a contest, between AI and the creation of content in Wikimedia. So, thinking about embedding search engines and creating an AI assistant on a platform, and thinking about motivation in young people to join the movement in two ways. In intrinsic motivation is directly speaking about why they want to learn and certain skills, and external motivation that maybe is all those benefits from becoming part of the movement. So there are both ways, and I think both should be taken place to bring more young people to the movement.
Wonderful, thank you. I could not have summed up this panel better. In my last sentences, we talked about these issues the day before, and starting with the youth as a topic, we always ended up with the movement as a whole and all generations. Thank you very much. And I mean there.
Can we take turns on the bottom of the panel and I'll find you at the end of the Thank you.